James, I'm not going to lie. I'm really envious of your dog right now. She's just chowing down on some food, hanging out in her bed. She's got a pretty good life.
She's pretty cute. Yeah, she seems to be pretty relaxed now. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I have a dog.
Yeah.
Hey, relax, dog. Dog. She just jumped at her water.
She saw something spooky in there. And I'm fully on her side. I want to make sure that she's comfortable, and if that's what it took to make her comfortable, then goddamn it, I'm happy for her.
Yeah, just dipping her tail in the water and then freaking out a little bit.
Oh, by the way, hi.
Hi, welcome to Trailer Hitch.
Welcome to Trailer Hitch. I'm Kevin.
I'm James.
And tonight we are going to be going through a lot of trailers because it's been a hot minute since we broke down some trailers.
Yeah, and also, I mean, one of the biggest trailer weeks of the year has just happened. It's Comic-Con. It was Comic-Con week.
That is absolutely correct, James.
Yeah, and
to celebrate that we are in cosplay right now recording this.
Yeah, I'm dressed as a guy who wears semi-casual stuff to work.
And I am dressed as Tom Cruise from Top Gun. James, can you describe how I look right now?
You know, I see it. I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got glasses. They're not sunglasses, but they're glasses.
You know what? I'm on a budget.
And you look like you can feel the need. That's all I've got to say about that.
Thank you. You get me, man. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Happy
Okay.
Comic-Con.
Yes. So, we are going to be introducing a brand new segment called Comic Conquerors.
That's us.
Yes. Eagle-eared listeners may remember that we did a segment called Conquest for the Cannes Film Festival and the trailers that came out of there. Maybe some of you are thinking, hey, you already sort of made that pun earlier. However, what I posit instead is maybe we shouldn't have so many things that start or rhyme with can or con.
Yeah.
You know?
And I suppose that if we draw attention to it, then it's okay to do it.
Yes.
There you go.
Suck it, Comic-Con.
Check and check.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Grab a seat, pour yourselves a whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these future releases by the movie trailers. We're Trailer Hitch. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're Trailer Hitch.
Alright, so I've already changed my cosplay. Now I'm Samuel L. Jackson from the movie Changing Lanes with Ben Affleck from 2003.
Right. Yeah, he had glasses.
He did have glasses.
You have glasses, and I see it.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who bring multiple cosplays to the convention, and, I wanted to represent them properly on this episode.
You're doing it right, man.
Thank you very much.
Doing it right. And don't mind the sound effects of my dog eating. That's, it might be kind of loud.
Hey, here's the deal. We all have to eat sometime, and his dog just decided to eat right now as we were recording. Hey, she's growing, she's hungry, she's a puppy. Let her do her thing.
Yeah.
So, we are going to dive right into Hitchhikers. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done Hitchhikers.
Because we failed last time.
We failed the last time we did it. And we'd really like to not fail again.
Yeah,
so
there is that.
We were avoiding it for a while.
And if this is your first time listening in, you might be thinking, failed at what? What's the deal with this?
Oh, that's true. Hello, first-time listener.
So here's what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. James and I review movie trailers. We rate our trailers as follows. We will either give a trailer a need to see more, or never need to see. Now, if James and I both give something a need to see, we're going to celebrate for a second because, you know what? Consensus is nice. In this day and age, with these politics, of course consensus
in the
is
political
nice.
Climate.
Whoa. And so, we'll celebrate for a moment, and then James and I will make it a point to go out and see that movie in the theater and get back to you with a review of the film and the trailer itself. We call Low Segments Trailer in the Rear View. Hey, if you're new to this, if you look one below on iTunes, we just did one.
Yeah. It was kind of a twofer. We reviewed Spider-Man Homecoming and
Baby Driver.
So check it out if you are interested.
Please do. Now, when we talk about failing with Hitchhikers, what we do is we go through a set number of trailers, rapid fire, and just give you our abridged thoughts, just so that way we can catch up with the plethora of trailers that tend to drop week by week.
Yeah.
So we have 10 trailers. Now, what's going to happen is James and I are going to set a target time for ourselves. If we end up going over time, James and I have to take a movie that we gave a never need to see for the trailer for.
Yep.
And then we got to watch that, and then we got to review that, which is what happened the last time we did this.
Yes.
God, I feel like after that, I'm going to need to pick me up. Should we go at least a little bit easier?
Oh,
on ourselves?
absolutely. Yeah,
thank you.
there's no way in hell we're going to miss this one.
Okay,
I
cool.
promise.
Now what? 10 trailers?
We got 10. Let's go with 8 minutes. I think that's
I
think that's setting the bar real low for us.
That's setting the bar very low for us.
And
yes.
I think that's what
we've
need.
We've done this in like 6.5 minutes before, so
But
I'm feeling pretty confident about this.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you are ready, because James and I are ready. So we're going to get started right now. Happy Death Day. It's Groundhog Day, but with murder. Right, so the premise is just okay, especially given the hook of, you have to figure out who your killer is to stop this. It doesn't really have an ounce of validity to it, because how did you know that, thin white guy? That said, the execution has me intrigued, especially the tongue-in-cheek car explosion at the end. I'm not sending a gift, but I'll give a card with a $10 Starbucks gift card in it. Need to see more.
Okay, does this look dumb? Yeah, kinda. Am I interested? Yeah, kinda. The
Right?
50 Cent song choice is dated as, and it sounds like it'll drive you mad, but I guess that's kind of the point. As a trailer, it's not too game-changing, letting the premise do the heavy lifting of selling you on what the movie is, but sometimes that's enough. Still doesn't have me dying to see it. Need to see more.
Sure. Marshall. It's about Thurgood Marshall, an attorney in the, 50s, taking on a case to exonerate an innocent black man. Had no idea I'd be complimenting the style of a biopic, but that whip pain in the courtroom had me swooning. However, on top of this style, Marshall is also apparently kicking the shit out of dudes in a bar. Not that I don't like a racist getting punched, but having a protagonist be that much of a badass makes me question any conflict in the movie, because this dude seems like he's gonna get all this shit under control super easy. But thumbs up for the subject matter and for punching a racist. Need to see more.
I like seeing Chadwick Boseman pop up in more stuff.
Yeah.
And I liked this trailer. It did something that set it apart from other period films with the similar themes and premise. And I don't mean mash time-appropriate songs with rap music. They all do that. No, it interjects some light humor into the trailer, just to let you know it won't be solemn faces and angry racism all the way through. There's an entertainment factor to this movie that they haven't forgotten to highlight, but that doesn't feel like quite enough for me. Need to see more.
Sure. Thank you for your service. It's about a man coming home from a tour in the Middle East, adjusting to his life back home while also dealing with his PTSD. Again, cool to see the subject matter represented, and though there are aspects I love, namely a soldier refusing to name his son after himself because his trauma has eroded his sense of self, I really don't think putting chocolate chips in your kid's pancakes is that big of a deal, and seems like a weird way to convey the emotional distance from his family, which overall doesn't land for me. Plus, pancakes take like 10 minutes to make. You know what? Never mind. Let's not get into it. Need to see more.
Yeah, look, we're PC as fuck here, and we've never offended anyone on this show ever. So,
Nope.
at the risk of listeners thinking I'm downplaying PTSD, which I most definitely am not, and I would never do, I'll say my piece. There are a lot of films covering this subject matter. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but none of them really seem to bring anything new to the table for me. They sort of all hit the same notes. Soldier is a hero. Soldier comes home with PTSD. No one understands soldier's experience. Remember that the soldier's a hero. I'm just saying, as a trailer, I feel like I got the whole gist of it, and it's not for me. Never need to see it.
Sure. The Only Living Boy in New York. It's about a hipster trying to get back together with his ex while he's also trying to get with the woman his father is having an affair with?
Bold.
Right. So, if your gut told you this hipster fellow seems like a prat, you're correct based off of this trailer. If you thought, well, at least it'll deconstruct his narcissism, you're incorrect based off of this trailer. Also, take a drink every time there's a clear New York is a character in this movie shot. Never need to see.
I love all the characters in this trailer, except for the main one. He's the kind of guy that pauses for laughs after his Philadelphia joke, but after the silence pretends like it wasn't meant to be that kind of a joke. Fuck you. I want life to kick this character in the nads repeatedly. But like I said, I liked everything else, so need to see more?
Sure. The King's Choice. It's about Norway being invaded by the Nazis in 1940.
Is that what it's about?
Presented in largely stuffy fashion. Yo, if you're not going to give me a character to latch onto, at least don't give me a story that I know the ending to. Never need to see.
I definitely had to watch this trailer twice to grasp, which normally isn't a good sign, but it's a foreign film with a lot of subtitles, so sue me. Starts with a great personal touch to the main character, but quickly gets muddled by trying to cram in a ton of information for the viewer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fat that could have been trimmed from this one. Never need to see it.
Rupture. God, buckle up. It's about a woman being kidnapped and held in a dank room, who then finds out it's all an experiment to rupture a part of her genetic code to effectively make her a mutant.
Huh?
So I'll give you points for creating a movie from what I can only assume was a drunk Mad Lib. Never need to see.
Man, filmmakers are really stretching to come up with new framing devices for torture porn films. After a brief, the X1B2 hashtag serum will rupture your genes to make you a monster or something like that, I was just like, wait, what? I didn't understand that. Then 5 seconds later, I realized it doesn't matter at all. Never need to see it.
Burning Sands, it's about hazing in a fraternity. Jesus, how long does the hazing process last in this fraternity? Years? Additionally, though there may be a commentary at play with having this be an all-black fraternity, whatever point they're making is getting lost for me in the 40 to 50 shots of dudes getting punched. Never need to see.
This is like the second fraternity hazing trailer for a movie we've reviewed on this podcast, and I still don't get it. Like, the trailer builds the tension effectively, but every 30 seconds I just think to myself, oh, just don't do that thing. Problem solved. Oh, you don't get to be in the fraternity then? Then pick a different fraternity. Problem solved. Or find friends that you don't need to prove your worth but in painful ways. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing where you have to be in a fraternity to understand it, but I'm not, so never need to see it.
Stronger. It's about the Boston Marathon bombing survivor who's lost his legs trying to move on from the tragedy. Alright, so heading in the right direction for stories about this event. That said, this was too on the nose for me. Props to the guy who the story is based off of. I just wish this trailer and by extension the movie could match up to him. Never need to see
It just ultimately feels too soon for these kinds of films, which is why Patriots Day didn't appeal to me. But the trailer does a little bit of a better job at focusing the film to a personal story of the aftermath with the relatable stakes and emotions. It doesn't have me rushing for the theater, but at the end of the day, it's a recovery story, and it's all the stronger for it. Need to see more.
To the Bone, it's about a woman trying to overcome an eating disorder. Normally, indie dramedies get a stark nope from me, but some of the quirk worked for me, namely the bemused but concerned sister and the English fellow in the house. That said, the pathos definitely overrides the back half of this trailer for me, and not even Keanu Reeves standing in the rain could win me back. But strong opening, need to see more.
This was really gelling with me at the beginning. I liked the lighthearted start that slowly morphed into, no wait, this is a serious issue and you could die type of tone. For teen films, I think it's important to appeal to the demographic without sugarcoating the premise. I think the trailer handled it well, but after the lead is seen by Dr. Neo, there was a lot of really cheesy lines, which aren't for me. Never need to see it.
Sure. Cult of Chucky. Yep, the Chucky franchise is still a thing. In this one, previous survivors of his Child's Play films are stuck in an asylum with him. Unfortunately, that first cutaway of the babysitter falling out of the window got a huge guffaw out of me, and I don't think it was supposed to. Maybe this will be a great drunk watch, but I'm a bit busy at the moment, so I don't think I'll play Chucky. Never need to see.
If you don't really know the mythology of Chucky movies, you're going to be kind of lost in this trailer like I was. So it's like a support group of original Chucky movie survivors that try to get over a murdering doll by playing with the murderous dolls, I guess? I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid on this one. Never need to see it.
And time?
And stop! 7 minutes and 14 seconds.
I am so relieved right now, James.
You can breathe
I can
easy,
breathe.
Kevin.
I can breathe.
easy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
God.
Yeah.
God, yeah, let's drink.
Let's drink. Well, that was well done.
That was well
we
done.
had 45
Yeah.
seconds to spare.
Yeah, I don't really have too much more to add, especially Stronger. When I say that trailer, like, these movies are heading in the right direction, what I mean is, Patriots Day was like this huge bombastic affair of, let's try and tackle so many different aspects of the tragedy. And I appreciate the fact that now we're getting individual stories based off of it. Though I really appreciate the theme, for me, it doesn't really feel like it's saying anything more than what we as people know and saw from the people of Boston, which is you have to find the strength to keep fighting. Yeah, I just wish there was a movie that could capture that without necessarily just beating me over the head with it.
Sure, yeah.
Speaking of beating people over the head, I mean, there's a part of me that does kind of want to drunk watch Cult of Chucky. Like, it does look like it's going to be so ludicrous, it might just be unintentional fun.
I would drunk pass out watch Cult of Chucky.
Well, that's how the doll would get you.
We'll see. That's true.
Yeah.
But I'm not terrified of it, so I think I'm safe because that kind of is what they were
has
implying.
Has that series ever solved the issue of can't you just kick it?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
they have people kick it. It just comes back.
Sure. You just keep kicking it. You know what? Maybe we'll see the movie. Maybe
I think you get tired before the doll does. The doll doesn't need sustenance to keep its energy up. It's black magic, right? So there you go.
Yeah, eventually you just sort of have to acquiesce, I suppose.
I think I'm kind of done talking about Chucky movies.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, do you want to get into Conquest?
Yeah, let's move on to the Comic-Con trailer avalanche that we got.
All right. So we're going to conquer, much like the Justice League conquers things. You know what? It's not my best, but we got to run with it.
I think that worked, man.
All right.
That was good.
I appreciate it. Thank you for being my supporter. So, Justice League, a fairly long trailer.
Yeah, it was like 4.5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is, let's be honest.
It was a bit long.
It's too long.
It was a bit long.
The trailer shouldn't really be more than 3.5 minutes.
But again, it's Comic-Con, so they're like, hey, we're getting close to being done with this movie. We have a bunch of footage now. We don't have to rely on 30 hours of the Flash staring at a batarang, which was the first Comic-Con teaser we got.
I do remember that one, yes.
I remember it because I feel like I am still watching it. That batarang was in the air so long. Anyway, look. So now there is much more footage to go off of, and this one definitely seems to highlight every single one of them, and is playing really coy about Alfred looking off camera and saying, you finally came back and everyone said you would. Let's all be real, it's fucking Superman. So even Superman gets a little taste in this trailer too. I feel like this pretty much looks like every other DC comic book movie trailer.
Sure.
I don't know about you. I also wanted to point out a lot of superhero movies in some way, shape, or form involve blue light shooting up into the sky. That factored heavily into Avengers, into Guardians of the Galaxy, and several other superhero movies. And I just wanted to point out that, goddammit, sure enough, there's some blue light shooting up into the sky.
Are you talking about the beginning? Yeah, with Themyscira and...
Which is partly to highlight that it doesn't really feel like they're going to distinguish themselves too much from, like, the Avengers.
To be
like, the
fair,
yes.
This looked more like a blue light shining down to Earth instead of going up to the sky.
Okay.
Because
now,
the guy
you're
comes
pitching this
down?
to me like this is an improvement or this is a stark difference, which, sure, if it's shining down onto Earth, you're correct. That's different. However, I do have to say that, I just kind of wish there was a little bit more there.
Sure. Yeah. I kind of had a lot of fun with it. I think I haven't been shy about, like, my feeling towards the DC comic book movies. Like, I don't think they're great movies, but I've been enjoying them. But they have been lackluster, for sure. And that's kind of like where I was assuming this was going to go. But I was excited to see the characters together. After seeing Wonder Woman, though, and like really, really enjoying myself with it, it kind of breathed a little bit more excitement for me with this. So I was excited seeing these characters come together.
Wonder Woman was like the fucking paddles that just clear and then poop and then you and now
I was flatlining on the table. Wonder Woman came in like the Ellen Page from Flatliners that I needed and just brought me back,
give
baby.
You a little bit of juice. Yeah, no, that's legit, man.
Okay. But I thought it had some good humorous moments in it. There were some humor moments that fell flat for me in the last trailer that came out.
I still haven't found the "I'm rich" line funny, but that's
that was an old trailer.
Yeah,
that's specifically what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that line and Bruce talking to Aquaman, and he's like, "So I hear you can talk to fish" or something like those are all bad examples, or those are all examples of bad jokes. I think. This one highlighted more, there were like 2 instances of the Flash making some jokes, and I laughed during them, and it was funny. Like, he mentioned how he doesn't really fight people, he just pushes them and runs away. Yeah. And then all the heroes like disappears while Jim Gordon is looking in the other direction. Like, that was a funny thing to call attention to. The action looks a little like we've seen it all before. Yeah. But like I said, I'm more excited about seeing these characters together.
Because I think Comic-Con was the very first teaser that we got.
A Comic-Con a year ago.
A Comic-Con a year ago.
So just over a year ago now.
And honestly, with each successive Justice League trailer we've gotten, I feel like even though, I mean, clearly I'm not sold on seeing this in a theater. Right. I would say that I have been enjoying these trailers more, and I think that it's kind of coming together a little bit for me more. Yeah. I feel like they're kind of figuring out what tone to use to sell the movie. Yeah. And even though, admittedly, I'm kind of starting to like slip away a little bit from comic book movies.
Absolutely.
I will say that if you are a fan of comic book movies, definitely give this trailer a watch. And there's a good chance that you'll be as excited as James.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, enough about this bright blue light in the sky. Let's move on to Bright.
Sure. By the way, Kevin, did we tell the audience that we are not actually going to be giving these ratings?
We were too busy conquering.
Oh, we were too busy conquering. Okay. So, guys, there are 7 trailers that came out from Comic-Con for movies. We're going to be talking about those trailers, and then we're going to be ranking them from 1 to 7. And we did a similar thing with our Super Bowl TV spot episode. If people...
And I believe the Conquest episode, too. The Con Film Festival.
Sure, yeah. So
this is kind of our thing.
Yeah. We like switching it. We like switching it up a little bit. Give me a fucking break.
Variety's the spice of life.
Yeah, and like this isn't the last time you'll hear us talk about these movies because they're blockbusters. Like they get talked about a lot. It's
all the time.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Yes.
Speaking of beast. Was that a good segue? I don't know. I don't even know what the next
trailer is. Let's do Bright, so that way
there's beasts.
There's beasts in it.
I like your thought process.
In Justice League, there's bright blue lights, and so we can.
There's a lot. There's a form of beast in all of these. I would say.
We
could have transitioned into any
of them, but nope. We're going with Bright. Bright, of course, is a Netflix film starring Will Smith, in which he
and Joel Edgerton.
Yep. That is correct. He is an LAPD officer in a world in which fantastical monsters are just a part of everyday life. So fairies, beasts, pixies, all that.
Like guys that look like ogres. Or orcs from Lord of the Rings type of stuff.
Are all cohabitating in this world. And James, I kicked it off with Justice League. Tell me, what do you think about this?
Okay, I've watched this trailer with a number of different people. And like 3, not a whole. Like, everyone relax, okay? I did it. It's not. I didn't.
Just out of curiosity, were you like watching it at work, and were you like, "Yo, Tom, get in here," and then like you watch it with your buddy, and then Tom leaves, and then you're like, "Nah, I still got more to say about this." Hey, Karen, get in here, and then like you kept.
That's essentially what it is. I keep looking for someone to watch this with me who is still on my level. Essentially what I'm saying is I really, really, really love this trailer.
Sure.
And everyone else I watch it with is just like, eh. So I'm just kind of, you don't need to say anything yet, Kevin.
I will not.
We'll get to you. I just thought it was so fantastically unique to bring this fantasy world that we're all super familiar with, but we all associate it with medieval times into a modern setting. That hasn't really been done before in a way where they don't first break the timeline or explain it in like a weird sideways slant type of thing. That's just how the world is.
Yeah.
Just like when you're watching Lord of the Rings, that's just how the world is. There's hobbits, there's orcs, there's elves. That's the world. And that really hasn't been done before with a modern time period film.
Not that I can think of, but I've also had a lot of whiskey.
Feel free to write in at trailerhitch.
Mailbox@gmail.com.
Yep.
Wait, do you not know our Gmail?
No, I'm really bad at thinking of it off the cuff.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
That's fine.
Yeah, let me know if I'm wrong on that. But this...
Clearly, James would like to see that movie if it exists.
This, really piqued my interest. The intro with, the fairies' lives doesn't matter today, or fairy lives don't matter today at the beginning of the trailer.
That did not land for me.
No, it was a little anti-progressive. Is there a word? There's a word for anti-progressive, right?
Yeah, I think it's just that's actually a really good goddamn point, because you would think, because progressive, you would think it would be anti-aggressive.
Ant-aggressive?
Ant-aggressive?
Yeah, anti-aggressive.
Anti-aggressive.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so,
just your racist aunt, anti-aggressive. She is present in the beginning of this. Yeah, it's just weird because they make a Fairy Lives Matter joke, and then Will Smith beats and kills a fairy that's fucking around in his bird feeder.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the trailer is about how you should, everyone cohabitats together.
Which is a great
different
message.
Races.
It's an
different
awesome
races.
Message.
Different races, as in orcs commingling with humans, commingling with yada yada.
Elves or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So then starting the movie off with him basically saying, but fuck these specific kind of...
That was very, it just seemed so contradictory to the whole point of the theme, you know? But maybe that is the character arc that Will Smith goes through. But I don't think it really belonged in a trailer. Moving past that, though, I was on board with everything. They introduced this magic wand but they're not like super cheesy about it, which is really important to me. It's just people are just like talking about this like this is a magic wand, and they believe every fucking word they're said. Like Will Smith is. He's like, okay, the script says to say there's this crazy magic wand. I'm gonna sell this shit.
Yeah.
He fucking does. He fucking sells that shit. I was having a great time with it, and I'm excited to see it, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, a couple of things. First, I got kind of quiet as you were talking because I was like, wait, Pan's Labyrinth, wait, nope, that's not set in modern day. And then I started to spiral into other movie, and I genuinely cannot think of another fantasy movie set in modern day. However, for me, I will say, I'm unfortunately in the same boat as the other three people you watched this with.
That's fine. I'm used to it.
Yeah, for me, I completely agree. I am all for this sort of premise, which is to take, these fantastical elements and put them in a modern, realist sort of setting.
Yeah.
Like, I do. I think that that's a really cool and novel idea. But with that idea comes the execution as well. And right now, I'm not necessarily sold on it. There is the contradictory element that you bring up. And for me, I think especially the direction that the movie had. And I mean that literally, like how the movie looks, especially in that back half of the trailer. It is all just really dark with a lot of deep blues. And everything, admittedly, for me, just sort of kind of was just murky and it all sort of blended together.
Okay.
It didn't really seem to have that distinct of a style, whereas Pan's Labyrinth, for example, you know full goddamn well you're watching Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much
that's
life to it.
You're comparing
Guillermo del Toro to
Guillermo
David
del
Ayer.
Toro is
And bear in mind,
style incarnate.
You're right. However, I think that David Ayer has certainly made movies that I've really enjoyed. I just don't know if the approach that he took was necessarily the one that I thought would best fit that material.
I think that's a fair point.
Because ultimately, and here's my thing, because it is such an out there premise, and to set that world up takes a lot of time, which, as we've talked about, you don't really have a lot of in the trailer. And so I feel like if there's more humor, if there's more to the story, then we gotta find this fucking wand, dude. While you're making the trailer, you have to set up all that important stuff of this is what the world is, before you can actually get to the meat and potatoes of the story.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
or at least at the same time, like
right.
Lord of the Rings.
It's
like you're introducing people to the world while saying like this ring is what these three movies are going to be about. Get ready.
It would be interesting to see how the Lord of the Rings movies are, so, like the trailers. It'd be interesting to look back on those trailers and see.
We should do an episode on that.
We should probably do an episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would be interested to see another trailer to see, okay, now that we've set up the premise, give me a little bit more to this world.
I think that's fair. And honestly, even if this movie crashes and burns, I think the premise alone, I'm like, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited.
So speaking of crashing and burning, there's a scene in the Kingsman Golden Circle trailer where a missile crashes and burns the Kingsman's mansion.
Yeah, not only that, it seems, in this trailer, but a lot of different buildings. It seems like Julianne Moore has it against like
architecture. Just architecture in general. She just fucking
a lot of different locations.
Yeah, like really the only times we see her, she is in an office, but she doesn't seem pleased. It's architecture,
No,
I guess.
She's indifferent.
So, Kingsman Golden Circle trailer. For this, what I have to say is, man, they're not even hiding that Colin Firth is still alive.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, I guess we're just gonna ignore the fact.
We're just accepting it now.
Yeah. Oh.
Listen, you saw him shaving in the first trailer. You're fucking over this,
people
right?
Are just like, yeah, he died in the first one. That was the first one. Move on, people.
Yeah,
we're on number 2, baby. Keep up. Keep up.
If he got gut shot, something like that in the first movie, I'd be like, I guess so. He got shot in the fucking face.
In the head.
Yeah.
In the head.
Like right in the head. And right now they're just
and didn't get up.
Yeah, and they're just selling me right now with, don't worry, he's got an eye patch. And that's kind of how they're taking it.
You know what?
Which, and bear in mind, like, this is a story that is clearly
ridiculous.
It's all style. And, like, that's what the first Kingsman was.
Yeah.
I fully expect, especially given these trailers, that's what the second Kingsman movie is going to be as well. So, I mean, I'm willing to go along for the ride. That said, I don't know if I would have recommended doing a reverse Janet Leigh and, like, completely hidden Colin Firth from, like, trailers and stuff like that. And then it's like, hey, guess who's back with an eye patch, baby? You know, like, that might have been an interesting marketing ploy, but whatever. Okay, so we're just going to fucking accept the fact that Colin Firth is there. Now that said, because we reviewed the first trailer,
Yes.
as like a full main drag review.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we both ended up enjoying the trailer. Well,
I can't remember what I gave it though. I think I said based on the trailer, it's a need to see more.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna see.
Right, and
Right.
we were both need to see more on that. So hey, first of all, cheers on
Oh,
consensus.
cheers.
Cheers on consensus.
Yep.
That said, with that first trailer, and maybe I should rewatch it, but I was taking it as the Statesmen, the American version of the Kingsmen,
We're the bad guys.
were the bad guys.
Yeah.
Or like this trailer makes it abundantly clear. Now they're buds.
They're allies.
Yeah,
Right.
potentially they might flip
Of
as the
course,
movie goes on.
it's a spy movie.
It's a fucking spy movie.
There's gonna be someone who flips.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not a spy movie unless there's a double agent in there somewhere.
Yeah, unless they're just taking Colin Firth flipping from dead to alive as the one flip for the movie. Yeah, so really at this point, all I have to go off of is Julianne Moore hates architecture.
Yeah.
And when you had Samuel Jackson, who I thought played a really fun and effective villain.
Yeah,
in
I
the
liked
first
him.
film.
Yeah.
And you also had Knife Legs Lady, who was just like shanking people with her feet and stuff. Like, they had like a really memorable set of villains to go off
Mhm.
of. And villains that made me step back and go, well, I know that probably the Kingsmen are going to take care of this, but there's some moments here and there where I'm like, I don't know how this is going to shake out.
Right.
Now we're taking that and we're having just Julianne Moore shooting missiles at shit.
Right.
And I don't know if we'll get another trailer before the movie comes out. But if so, it might be kind of cool to see maybe highlighting a little bit more with that villain, just so I can get more stakes than, well, she blew up their building.
Yeah, it looks like the trailer is definitely focusing more on the alliance of Kingsmen and Statesmen versus question mark bad guy. The trailer's like, it doesn't matter who the bad guy is, it's the
And, like-
alliance that you should be excited
And like,
for.
why are the Statesmen necessarily aligned with the Kingsmen other than just like, well, we don't like it when things blow up?
Well, here, I'm going to say it right here.
Yeah.
Audience, you've heard it here, because I haven't read this anywhere, I don't think. I hope I'm not, like, plagiarizing this. But I have a feeling that Harry, so Colin Firth, got shot in the head.
Yes.
Okay, fine, he didn't die. We're just, like,
We're going to move
we're
on.
accepting
Yeah,
that,
we're
right?
moving on.
The Statesman swooped in and arrested him and brought him to jail and the Statesman jail. Why? Because he murdered an entire church full of people
Yeah.
on American soil.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that the Kingsmen are going to the Statesmen, and then that's where they're going to find Harry in their like cell, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he seems like a good bloke, so you can have him back or something." I don't know. But
Okay, that's an interesting take.
But if I'm wrong, who cares? But if I'm right, I'm going to be saying it every episode.
Matthew Vaughn is just screaming at his assistants right now. Who leaked the script? He's screaming, who leaked the script?
That Trailer Hitch podcast down.
All the-
Julianne Moore style explode.
Yeah, I was
his
about to
apartment.
say we're just gonna see the missile coming for us. Oh, we're gonna have to save your dog. It'll be okay.
She'll be okay.
She'll be okay.
She's a survivor.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the trailer?
Overall, I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Again, I would like to see a little bit more done kind of establishing the conflict and the threat within the film, because that's ultimately what spy movies distinguish themselves with, right? You know James Bond's going to be James Bond. The question is the villain going to be painting women gold, or is the villain on the moon? You know? Like, that's sort of what distinguishes them. So that's kind of what I'd like to see out of another trailer. Otherwise, fuck it. I'm sure eventually I'll see the movie.
Yeah, I feel like my feelings are exactly the same as the first trailer. I'm gonna see this movie, but you gotta establish a little bit of what this movie is about other than just, buddy organizations, like, hanging out.
Yeah.
Nah, a laser lasso is pretty fucking cool.
Pretty neat.
Not gonna lie.
Thought it was neat.
And Channing Tatum's comedic delivery on everything is pretty amazing. So it looks like a ton of fun. It's just like you said. Yeah. We could use a little bit more from the plot and the villain.
For sure. All right, so a ton of fun. Sounds like a game. Hey, James, do you want to play a game?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about Jigsaw.
Oh, no, I don't want to play that game.
That's too late. We're already in it.
All right,
All right,
cool.
so Jigsaw. Just so you know, Saw, still a thing. So they made Saw, the final chapter.
I don't know how long
Just
it's been since the last...
Just a giant middle finger to that whole final chapter business.
Oh, I'm sorry, was that what it was called? The final chapter?
I could fucking
I trust you. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. We don't need to look it up.
No, it's okay, because Yeah, our bad movie correspondent, Jenny, who has been on the show, is just going to fucking read me the riot act.
That's right, my roommate.
Yeah,
Jenny.
your roommate, Jenny, is absolutely going to... She will put me in a Saw trap if I get this
Saw is
wrong.
one of her favorite franchises.
So, James, can you go ahead kind of give me the gist of what's going on here?
Yeah. So it's
Saw 3D, the final chapter.
All right, well done. So it's been 10 years or something since the Jigsaw killer died. Right. And now all of these, Jigsaw game murders start happening again, and the cops are like, but he's dead. And they're like, that doesn't matter. You still need to solve these crimes. So that's basically what we get from this trailer, and a lot of elaborate mousetrap setups that a Jigsaw type voice is setting up. But yeah, the franchise definitely killed him, so I'm not sure how they're going to deal with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah, and I guess for me, all I got out of this was Jigsaw is back.
Yeah.
And that's really the main thing that those trailers are hammering.
Yeah. And that's been the point of this franchise when it comes to the trailers anyway, is highlighting the torture porn, look at all the different ways we're going to kill people in this movie. And essentially that has been slasher films forever, Halloween movies and Friday the 13th movies and Nightmare on Elm Street movies have all been okay, what crazy stupid way can we kill someone this time? That is the whole point of them, so that is going to be the point of this one.
Yeah.
And nothing really stood... I watched the trailer twice, and I'm having a hard time remembering
much of anything.
Much of it.
So,
other than the police officers being he's dead, though.
So, what I really remember from this, I would argue, boy, they really need to let go of the whole bear trap thing from the first Saw movie.
Yeah, they really just,
They bring it up every goddamn chance they can, can't they? And, here's the deal. That was a good and effective scene in the first Saw. Or I, at least... Especially when I was 14, that made me lose my shit. I was so scared.
That whole movie was pretty great.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
That said, if Saw was a one-hit wonder, every proceeding Saw movie since has been an entirely new album of not as good material, but then they always close or open their set with their one main hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You waited through the majority of the Saw movie. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Here's Wonderwall. All right, everybody Wang Chung tonight. Here's your one.
Yeah.
We're trying to do things as an artist, but you know what? Fine. We'll give you your one thing that you really love.
Here's the puppet on a tricycle playing Wonderwall.
Yeah. I'd like to see that, actually. I was going to pitch this because you were bringing up all these other franchises. It got me thinking, at some point that means we're going to get a Saw movie in space. That said, I would actually much prefer to see Saw...
I would like that.
Fucking why not both? Right? Saw in space, Jigsaw playing Wonderwall in zero gravity. It'll be like that viral video. The astronaut playing Space Oddity.
Beautiful.
Just have the fucking puppet in zero gravity.
It's a horror film that will make you cringe and cry at the same time.
James Wan, I'm just saying, buddy, get a ticket out of me. All right, but enough about space.
It was fine. The trailer was fine.
Yeah, the trailer was
whatever.
Yeah, it was totally okay.
It was meh.
Kind of like with this comic book movie things, if you are a huge fan of the Saw franchise, as bad movie correspondent Jenny is...
This is for you.
Fucking jump on this right now. That said, for the rest of us, it's what you expect.
Exactly.
Enough about Jigsaw in space, but keeping with the sci-fi theme, Pacific Rim 2.
I feel like we could breeze through this.
I watched this about 3 or 4 times just to confirm my first impression on this.
Give me it.
Since doing this podcast, which has been about a year now.
Yeah, we're rounding on a year.
We're rounding on a year. This is the worst trailer I've seen since we started.
It's a teaser.
It is a teaser.
But yeah, look, there's probably some stuff in Hitchhikers along the way that rival it.
Of course.
But this compared to every main drag we've ever done, definitely bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, and here's why I'm saying that.
Bless you, dog.
Bless you. She's allergic to shitty trailers. That's what's going on. Anyway, so the reason why I'm saying that this is one of the worst trailers that I've seen is because, to me, a trailer is supposed to sell you on a movie. And how do you sell someone on a movie? It's by giving them information. And you'll note that whenever James and I talk about a trailer, it's always, this is the tone or the style. Like, this
Yep.
is how it's shot. This is how it's edited. Here's some character details we can extrapolate. Here's some conflict we can
Dialogue
extrapolate.
chosen is
Dialogue,
important.
anything like that. It's all just about taking the information and processing it, and like
Yeah.
using that to give you guys a brush of, well, this is what we take from just like these 3 minutes of a movie trailer. The reason why I think this fails so much for me is this literally tells me nothing I don't already know about Pacific Rim 2. All I get out of this is there's going to be a Pacific Rim 2, and John Boyega is going to be in it.
And there's Jaegers in it.
And there's Jaegers in it. I knew all 3 of those things. Like,
The fact that you are saying we're making a Pacific Rim 2 tells me there's Jaegers in it.
yes.
And then you cast John Boyega, so I knew that already too. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, you know all these things going in.
Yes, and so this is really the only positive angle I can take on it. I can understand you have Comic-Con coming up. If your studio is like, we need something to show these people. And if you're like, we genuinely don't have the footage. They might have had a problem even more so than what Justice League had last year. Because I think Justice League only had a couple weeks down. Even then, they still actually had like a cohesive trailer.
Fuck.
It didn't
like,
even- yeah.
Even Westworld. Like, we're not reviewing
Totally.
television shows, but Westworld season 2 has been filming for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Max.
And they had a trailer at
Yeah.
Comic-Con, and it was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And especially if you are trying to shoot this huge multi-million-dollar budget movie,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck do you mean we gotta have footage for Comic-Con? I can completely empathize with that. If that is what happened here, I think now studios should take a look at this and go, maybe we should give them more time.
Yeah.
Like,
Or just not force them to put something out for Comic-Con.
definitely.
Like, if they're not ready.
Yeah.
They'll know if they're ready. They know the audience better than you do.
Mm.
And I can only assume that they were attempting to do the similar kind of marketing thing that the Prometheus films were doing with, like, it was like a commercial about, like, the creation of the David android.
Yeah.
And the Walter android and shit like that. But
Yeah.
it just, like...
And, like, I got vibes of Starship Troopers, kind of like
Oh,
it's a,
yeah.
it's a
Oh,
recruitment
definite.
video, but, like, it doesn't have any of the satire that makes that
No.
shit in Starship Troopers work.
Well, and, like, doesn't the first film end with them winning? Like,
Mhm.
the war? It's, like, over?
They fuck up
So
those aliens,
why am I
man.
even watching a recruitment video anyway if
Yeah.
you haven't even shown me that the threat's back?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's just wrong on so many... It's bad on so many levels, and I feel bad because John Boyega, man.
Yeah.
But I don't feel bad for John Boyega too bad because... He seems to be doing okay. He's in that Star Wars thing that people seem to love so much.
I'm sorry, the what?
The Star War? Yeah.
The one.
The Star War. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really
Yeah.
love Jean-Luc Picard,
Yeah,
so
no.
he'll probably land
shut
on
the
his
fuck
feet.
up. But he's in Detroit. He was in that
Yes.
Netflix movie.
No, I
that-
completely...
This was bad. This was bad.
Yeah.
This Pacific Rim 2 was bad.
But, you know, this movie, all it's really saying is, oh, come pilot a Jaeger. So let's get the fuck away from this and talk about people trying to pilot another virtual reality prospect with Ready Player One.
Ooh, very good. Very nice.
I sort of knew where I was going on it. I had no idea what the middle was going to be.
dug
And I
it,
was just
man.
kind of like, fuck.
I dug it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That was a tightrope walk. Happy I made it. So Ready Player One, based off of the best-selling novel by Ernest Cline.
Yeah.
And
Have
actually,
you read it, by the way?
No, so you should probably take over
Sure,
from here because you've
sure.
read the book. But
Yeah.
you have to bear in mind this is from the perspective of the trailer.
Absolutely. Not only have I read the book, I loved the book. It's just, if you guys haven't heard of it, it is a really, really awesome book filled with like pop culture and just fun stuff, but also like a lot of really high stakes and stuff too. Anyway.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the film trailer, and especially talking to you, someone who hasn't read the book. I am interested to see what you feel about this. But the trailer is essentially, we get a lot of voiceover about the main character describing the world he lives in, he like physically lives in, and how in shambles it is.
Yeah.
And how everyone is absent from it because they all escape in their homes to the virtual world that everyone actually plugs into, called the Oasis, which as a direct comparison is like the internet in general, like how we all live on the internet nonstop. But it's more like a video game system where it's virtual reality. And then it kind of takes off with interesting, cool imagery.
Yep.
Maybe some stuff you recognize from other films.
He means there will be stuff you recognize.
Yeah. And some songs that you may recognize along the
Yep.
way. And then some supposed threats, but we don't really get an establishment of like exactly why or how. And then the title.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what we get.
Yes.
Kevin, how did you feel about this?
So you've like briefly told me the synopsis of the book itself.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's more at play than virtual reality, lols.
Yeah.
That said, the trailer doesn't really get into it. The trailer is effectively just setting up the virtual reality, the world that, as you explained, the real world and the virtual world
Yes.
from there. And so, because I didn't get any of like the story aspects of it, not really much of the character aspects, I'm like, okay, this is purely a world building trailer. This is just trying to show me what I'm in store for in terms of setting. And what did I think of the setting? For me, I thought it was fun. And it should be, because it's supposed to be in stark contrast with just how fucking slummy this dude just lives in a dilapidated jalopy. Like that's his home. Here's the deal, folks. That's just everyone's home in this world.
The
like
stacks.
Yeah. And so, as the world is in shambles, people need to escape. They end up escaping in a world that's completely populated with pop culture references. The DeLorean from Back to the Future makes an appearance in this. The Tron bicycle makes an appearance in this. The fucking Iron Giant is in this trailer.
That was pretty great. It looked great.
I did, didn't it?
Because I fucking love the Iron Giant.
And to me, at least from the outside looking in, because I haven't read the book, the pop culture references feel earned in my eyes because, that's what I would see a popular virtual reality world looking like. And at the end of the day, it's like that fucking one Hot Wheels shot where it's just a bunch of cars going off of a jump and slamming into each other and stuff. It's like, okay, sure, I'll hear you out. What's going on here? So overall, I thought it was an effective showcase for not just like the visual effects, but like what the world is. And the world does have me intrigued right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's essentially a teaser. Like you said, we don't get anything about story. It's just the main character setting up where we're at here, physically and virtually. And it did a great job of world building, like you said. Like, I think some of the effects were a lot of the times you're just kind of like, wow, that looks kind of fake. And then you go, wait a second. I mean, they're in a virtual reality world. Therefore, it's fake to them too. So does it get a pass? Sort of. But that's not the point. The world building succeeded in Aces. You want to know more. And that's the point of a teaser. You're just like, tell me more about this world and about what this story's about. I loved it. And as someone who loved the book so much, and Steven Spielberg is just one of my favorite directors of all time, I'm super fucking excited about this.
I will ask this. In the book, because I have to assume the answer
please
is
ask.
yes.
Please ask.
Do they reference Steven Spielberg movies?
Oh, yes. All the time. And I'll tell you, just so you don't start getting a different impression, he came out with a statement not too long after he accepted the job that he's going to be cutting a good amount of his own referenced stuff out of the film. Because he said, I just didn't want to be like overly self-referential. Yeah. And if it felt like integral to the story, they would have kept it in, and I would have just passed on the project. And I'm like, I fucking respect the hell out of that.
He seems like a good dude.
Yeah, and the DeLorean he kept in, he didn't direct Back to the Future, he just produced it, so that's fine. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. All right. I loved it anyway.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, you need electricity to power virtual reality.
You're on it. You're on the right track.
Thor is the god of thunder, lightning?
Which is thunder, which is noise.
Which is noise.
But the noise of thunder comes from
lightning. Noise sounds like Norse. Thor is a Norse god.
Oh, you're just
Thor Ragnarok.
You're making connections all over the place, buddy. I love it.
Don't mind me, just a year veteran of podcasting here. So Thor Ragnarok. We got a new trailer. We've already reviewed this in our main drag. We've already both given it a need to see. We're both already in the fucking theater.
Absolutely.
Now it's just, are we still in the theater? Yes. How about you?
Yes.
All right. Well,
I
will
mean, we'll talk briefly about
very
it. Very
briefly about it. Hammer joke at the beginning ruled.
It ruled, right?
It was
he just like he sort of stumbled over the line, but
Yeah.
you could tell it's like.
But that was intentional. Like
It-
it's just he's so flummoxed by what's happening to him.
Yeah.
And once again, I know I'd mentioned this in the review, but I will say again, I really like what they're doing for the humor with Thor, because the first couple of movies, all of the humor stemmed from him being a fish out of water in the real world.
I would say Thor
Mm,
and the first Avenger.
yeah.
Yes. Thor: The Dark World. After rewatching it, was stuffy. There just wasn't much humor in it. Period.
So I'm not going to lie, I don't remember much about Thor 2, and I was just taking a shot in the dark by saying the first two.
But you're not wrong though. Like
Yeah.
Thor and Avengers, the humor for him derives from fish out of water.
And I really like that at this point now, the fact that he's seen so much, he's been through so much, now they're deriving comedy from that. Where he's just at the point where it's like, my fucking hammer broke. That's fresh for me. And that's such a cool way to tackle that character. Because, yeah, if they were still doing like the, what's going on here sort of jokes, there wouldn't really be a reason to keep watching the character because it hasn't grown. Here they found a way to grow the character while also finding a new avenue for the humor in that character. And that's great.
And Taika Waititi, I believe, right, is the director.
Mm-hmm.
He even said, he thinks Chris Helmsworth comedic timing and delivery has been sorely underused in just Marvel movies in general.
Sure.
Once he said that, I'm like, really? Show me more, please. I want to see Chris Hemsworth being funny.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately being funny, not just because of the situation.
Yeah.
But the things he say, I want to laugh at.
Indeed.
And this trailer gave it to us.
Also cool to see the Hulk actually does factor pretty heavily into the story.
Absolutely, yeah.
Speaking of things that are underutilized, he was in a couple Avengers movies. He had his one little standalone movie. Otherwise, I haven't heard a goddamn peep from him.
No, yeah. Avengers Age of Ultron was the last time we've seen the Hulk.
Yes.
Okay? The end of that movie, he's just like flying off in a ship.
Yeah.
As the Hulk, not even as Mark Ruffalo, to somewhere. We don't know. And he like hangs up on someone.
Yeah.
That's like as the Hulk, which is kind of funny. Anyway, no, I did love the fact that this is clearly like a buddy movie, like a buddy cop movie, but not really cop. Minus the cop. Forget I said that, Kevin.
I'm just going to remember Buddy.
Like, there's a lot of questions I have, but that's coming from someone who kind of follows all of the Marvel stories and the timeline. There's a lot of things I know from the previous films that I'm watching this trailer and I'm going, wasn't this though? Or wasn't this like this? And like I'm interested to see how they're going to get from A to B. That's
definitely. And I think the only hesitation that I have based off of this trailer is I got super spoiled with the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming.
So good.
Such a good villain.
Yeah.
As of right now, Cate Blanchett just looks like a generic Marvel villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, too. I was going to say it. She looks like she's giving it her all, but just like on the...
I mean, she's Cate fucking Blanchett.
Yeah, she's Cate fucking Blanchett. But just on the written level, it seems like we've kind of seen this villain before.
Mm-hmm.
It looks better than the villain than in Justice League, which is just like a gray guy with horns
and some blue light.
He doesn't even talk. We don't know what he wants really. I mean, he sort of says some lines. It's not important. We're talking about Thor. She's got more charisma than that, which is going to make it more fun to watch. But does she have as much character as, say, Loki? Or say,
and that was actually what I was going to bring up
from Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to bring up. Is like, I think it's easier to make the Vulture more of an interesting villain because he's a real person, which means that you can ground his struggles in things that we can all understand.
Yes.
That said, aside from Michael Keaton's Vulture, my favorite Marvel supervillain is Loki from the first Thor movie.
Oh, it is. No,
like, hands down.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's because they found a way to ground his problems in reality. He is sick of living in his brother's shadow and is willing to do whatever he can to essentially usurp the crown of Thorville? Asgard, that's it.
Thorville. I like Thorville.
I know that they can make a good villain because they did it in Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So within just not even like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just within the Thor franchise, I know they can make a good villain. And so I haven't given up hope. That said, as of right now, there isn't anything in this trailer that makes me think that I should expect much.
Out of the villain.
Out of the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that would have been a really fucked up reversal if I was like, so that's why I now don't want to see Thor. Yeah.
I know, right?
Like, that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
No. Yes, you're absolutely
No,
right.
it still looks like an absolute gas, though. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
really fucking excited about it. There's just so much humor and bright colors to it, and
Yeah.
it looks like a Guardians of the Galaxy style film,
Mhm.
which looks like a lot of fun. So,
Definitely.
yeah, I'm loving it.
My man, do you want to rank these? We
I mean-
gotta get done with our
Yeah,
conquering.
fucking, let's do it. Let's conquer these officially.
Okay, so should we go from worst to best, my man?
Worst to best. Worst to best.
All right, worst to best.
Should we say it at the same time?
Yeah,
because
wait,
based on what you said, based on what
you
I
said, yeah,
we're
I
on the
really
same
think.
page.
Okay, all right. So you want to do it on 3?
Yeah,
On 3.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, Pacific Rim 2. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the worst.
Yeah, it's just
the fucking worst,
fucking
isn't it?
bad, isn't it?
Alright.
All right, number 6. At this point now, we shouldn't say them at the same
No,
time
no,
because we have
you-
no idea what the fuck.
I'll let you go first for this one.
My number 6 is Jigsaw.
My number 6 is Jigsaw as well.
Yeah,
Kevin.
right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and again, bear in mind, especially when you put it next to Pacific Rim 2, it looks fucking amazing. However, that said, really all they're selling me on is the character is back, and hey, look at all the stuff from the early movies that you really like.
And that's kind of what you have to do when you're bringing a franchise back from the dead, essentially, is just being... The first trailer is going to be a, hey, look, we're back.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
But, you know, I would have appreciated it a little. Anyway, number 5 for me is Justice League.
Number 5 for me is actually Justice League as well, Kevin.
I am going to lose my shit. Wait, no, we kind of disagreed on Bright. We're not going to match up completely, but that's okay.
No, I promise you we won't match up completely.
Okay, cool.
But no, and like I said, so from 5 up now, I like all of these.
Sure.
Justice League is just like, what is this movie about other than just getting the team together? I'm excited about that, but what else? What else? So that's why it's pretty low for me.
My number 4, speaking of low for me, when I say that in comparison to you, my number 4 is Bright.
Okay, yes. We're finally
We're starting to veer a little bit.
We're starting to veer. My number 4 is Kingsman 2.
That's fair.
Yeah. It didn't really bring anything new from that first trailer, even though it did show a lot more new stuff. Essentially, I'm left basically on the same level. So it was, comparatively, it was very, okay, this is kind of middle of the road.
Definitely. Number 3 for me is Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Interesting. Number 3 for me is Ready Player One,
Oh.
which I love to death.
Yeah.
It is a teaser,
Yeah.
essentially. So, you know, say what you will. But teasers kind of...
Here's the deal. I will say what I will because my number 2 is Ready Player One.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Thor Ragnarok.
Really? Really? I'm gonna get mine out of my number 1 is Thor.
My number
but
one is my number 1 is
your
Bright.
number 1 is definitely Bright.
Believe it or not.
Wow.
So I just want to say this. Thor, like, let's say I had never seen... This was my first trailer that I have seen for Thor. I think it probably would be my favorite then out of the bunch. But I had seen that first one, and I already had kind of like high expectations. And this met them, and like I'm just like, oh man, yeah, I'm still excited for this. But Bright was just so uniquely different and exciting for me because I'm just like, this is something new in the world, in the genre of fantasy, and I just love fantasy so much.
Yeah.
And I want something different because I can only watch so many Marvel and DC movies a fucking year.
I completely
You know what I
agree,
mean?
man.
And I love
No.
superhero movies, but it's good to be different, and I want to see different stuff, and that's why I'm really excited about Bright.
Aw, I like that a lot.
I tried to keep it bright.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, and again, earlier when I say, like, you know, oh yeah, like, it's not necessarily the approach that I think would work best with the material. I mean, that's not to say that I can't respect the approach that they took.
Absolutely.
It's just, I just don't necessarily know if this works for me yet.
Absolutely, yeah.
If we were to rank it, I would give it a need to see more.
Absolutely,
Just because,
yeah.
again, and like, I completely agree, I'm all for originality, I'm all for brand new premises. And it's the struggle that you face anytime you have a high concept is, okay, you have this really cool idea. Oh shit, now bring it together.
Make
and
it work.
That's
Yeah.
and that's the hardest part.
Yeah, I
And
would say so.
It does not surprise me, especially with that high of a concept that, the trailer may have missed the mark for me because they have to set up the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm willing to hear it out, and maybe at some point I'll be on your level too. Or we'll just end up watching the movie, you'll end up thinking it's just okay, and I'll fucking be over the moon for
And
it.
I love the fact that it could go in either way. Like, I could see me being, like, loving the shit out of this movie and everyone else hating it. Also, I could see me watching this and being like, this is garbage. This is worse than King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword, which I saw, and it's terrible.
You saw it in a theater.
I don't know if I ever brought that up on this podcast, but that trailer, which I think I gave a need to see it, I can't remember specifically. If it wasn't a need to see, it was a need to see more, but
Sure.
high. I went and saw it, and that movie is trash. Man. It's trash. And like I said, I love fantasy stuff, but that wasn't what I wanted.
What if Guy Ritchie really loves this podcast, and then out of nowhere we just take a right turn to be like, hey, Guy Ritchie, fuck your last movie.
I would never.
Just imagine him bummed over a glass of scotch right now.
I would never say that to Guy Ritchie or any filmmaker. He's doing Aladdin for Disney coming up next.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you knew. Disney is making a live action Aladdin like they did for Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast. Guy Ritchie is directing.
Yeah.
Guess who's playing the genie?
Who is playing the genie?
Will Smith.
That makes sense.
Does it? I'm kind of not sold.
Well,
on
you know
it.
what? You know what? We're kind of getting away from
We'll
this.
see how he does in Bright.
We'll see how he does in Bright. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this. I was about to call it Comic-Con Quest, but now I'm conflating it with Conquest.
Comic Conquerors.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you joined us
Yeah.
as we conquered. We came, we saw, we comic conquered. Boy, don't say that fast.
No, and just in time for the closer, Kevin changed his Comic-Con cosplay again to Steve Jobs, I believe. Is this Steve Jobs?
Yes, this
'Cause you got
is
the
Steve Jobs from the middle portion of the movie Steve Jobs. So I don't have the turtleneck
No,
on
you got
yet,
the glasses.
but I have
the glasses. I see it.
The glasses is what brings
I
it
can
all
see
together.
it. Yeah.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Please feel free to email us at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com. Feel free to hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up on Twitter at trailerhitchpod. Multitudes of ways in which you can contact us, but whatever you do, please be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, to rate us on iTunes, review us on iTunes.
Yes, we have 9 new ratings on iTunes and 2 new reviews on iTunes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I check pretty consistently. So we have
People have been heeding you.
Yes, I know. You beg and plead enough, and people are finally shut the fuck up, James. I'll do it.
You are the human version of Chucky with podcasts, where it's just you just keep getting up after getting kicked.
Yep,
and eventually,
exactly. That's exactly right. So we have 9 ratings and 5 reviews, and we need more. Just keep giving us more, please.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Or not. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
I do.
Do
actually
you?
care? Yeah,
Do you?
whatever.
I mean, if you're Guy Ritchie listening to this podcast, whatever you do, don't rate us now. We just flipped you the bird. So, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
That's great. Yeah, couple of weeks. Let's do it. And should we get out of here? I'm ready.
Yeah, let's dip.
Let's bail.
You can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Okay, what's next with the review? I just gotta get this
Can't-
goddamn Laurel
can
Lee
you-
blood costume on.
Can you just go in the bathroom to change, for God's sakes?
No, hey man, this is the Comic-Con experience. Everyone's just gotta wear their own.
Fine.
Hold on.
We're cutting this out, though.